Hello everybody, this is Brodsky with Windy City Legal. Today's topic is going to be an estate planning question. Specifically, when creating a trust, should I specify how the trust assets are going to be invested? Before we get into this, if you have estate planning questions, you can go to windycitylegal.com and pick a time for us to chat about them. That's windycitylegal.com. Okay, so when setting up a trust, should it specify how trust assets are invested? This question comes from somebody who is setting up a trust because he has a young family. He has that's married with a young child, owns his own home, is doing really well. So, he wanted to set up a trust as part of the estate planning to make sure that there is continuity in case something were ever to happen to him. So, as part of that, he said, all right, well, the trust is going to have certain assets in it, and I want to specify how they are invested. And went as far as to suggest certain stock or fund ticker symbols. So a couple things to keep in mind. First of all, with a revocable living trust, which is what we're talking about here, the person setting it up is going to be the first trustee of this trust and is going to be responsible for managing the investments. So, he will be able to make determinations for himself about what is appropriate and what is not appropriate and stay away from those things that are, in his view, not appropriate investments. But because of that, he's also going to need to have a certain amount of flexibility to make good choices about the investments going forward and not be limited to particular stocks or particular funds or a narrowly defined set of things that does not give him or anybody else the flexibility to react to changing market conditions or other things that might come up. And then secondly, even if he were not in the picture, the successor trustee to him, whoever's going to act after him, is somebody that he is choosing, and presumably is choosing somebody who has enough responsibility and financial wherewithal to make good choices about what investments to make, what not to make, and additionally is going to be a fiduciary for those assets in the trust. And what that basically means is that a successor trustee is not going to have the flexibility to make wild and crazy investments, but is going to have to act with responsibility for maintaining and stewarding those assets for the benefit of the trust beneficiaries. But again, if it's somebody that he doesn't have confidence in being able to do that, then maybe that's not the right person to pick as a successor trustee. And then finally, one additional consideration is that a trust needs to have enough flexibility built in to adapt to changing circumstances. That could be as simple as a particular fund is closed and that cannot be invested in at a particular time. Or it could be as big picture as a change of technology, and what is in place right now may be very different than what is available 10 or 20 years from now. For example, 10 or 20 years ago, we didn't have very much electronic trading. We didn't have very much, cryptocurrency availability. We didn't have nearly as much information available to the public as far as what assets are, or what stocks and funds are available, and what are the relative risks and holdings and all that kind of thing. So 10, 20 years of technology has really changed the investing picture. 10 or 20 more years is likely to do so again. So we want to make sure that a trust provides the then acting trustee with enough flexibility to take advantage of what's available, not be hamstrung by something that is not, or by choices that are narrowly selected and really no longer fitting the picture in future years. So couple considerations there to think about as far as what to allow, what not to allow. If you do have questions, whether about how to structure a particular trust, or what to include, what not to include, or anything else dealing with estate planning, feel free to reach out to us here at windycitylegal.com. If this has been helpful to you, we encourage you to share it with anybody that would benefit from it, and to like or subscribe to our feed so that you will see future updates. And again, if there's anything that we can help with, feel free to reach out to us here at windycitylegal.com. I'm Ian Brodsky. Thank you so much for listening. I do appreciate you, and look forward to chatting with you again soon.